5 years, wow. From starting from a position where we had some real challenges in terms of policing and community cohesion. We'd gone through a situation where we had real difficulties around extremism, real difficulties in terms of community cohesion, a huge amount of work that was going on to try and make people behave better, to understand how important it is to look after each other and be in harmony. They were really tough days from where we started. A lot of those challenges are still with us. They're still there. But I feel so much better for knowing that the chaplaincy exists. For the police, you've always looked after us. Whenever we look for training events and try and call on your experience for our probationers or our community cohesion team, you're there, and you're there with cake, which is even better. We certainly do a lot of work with regard to some of our frequent flyers and try and share that information and understanding, what the issues are and the threats to them and the threats that they pose and the issues that we need to manage together in a spirit of partnership is so vital. I would like to single out, though, and to praise the work that the chaplains do in an unfailing and unstinting way, and that's around community mediation. When we have real times of crisis and trouble in the town, and I can cite back to at least 3 now very large-scale policing operations to do with the trouble and strife between protesters and counter-protesters based around some very extreme ideologies. You're always there, and you come out and you are on the streets and you're in your workplaces and you're giving that comfort and succour to people who actually are feeling really disoriented and just want to know that things are going to be safe and things are going to be okay and they're going to be right. Myself and my officers, we go out there with vans, with dogs, with stab vests, with training, with a few mates on the end of a phone every now and again that we can bring in. You go out there with a lot of love in your heart, a lot of patience, to whacking great big ears, to listen to a huge amount of stuff and to make things right. And the way you do it and the professional approach that you have and the way you keep Luton safe and look after those people who most need it, for me is an inspiration, and I'm ever so thankful to be involved with and to have had your friendship and the services that you provide. So thank you ever so much to the Luton Town Centre Chaplaincy. Long may it remain. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting us. Can I say it's been a real pleasure and comfort to have the chaplains in the Crown Court. I personally feel that you fill a gap that is wanting in the Crown Court, because we often have individuals who don't fit into any particular category and they want comfort, they want to speak to somebody, they don't want to go to witness support because perhaps the prosecution witnesses are there, they may be defence witnesses, or they just may be family and friends. And so the gap filled is the gap of the chaplaincy, and it's absolutely great to have you. Now, our resident judge, Judge Foster, was hoping to be here, but there's a resident judges conference and he can't make it. And he asked me to read a letter that he's written to you, so I'm going to read it out for you. This is from Richard Foster, who is the Honorary Recorder of Luton. He says, it is with great regret that I am unable to be with you to share the celebrations to mark your 5th birthday. I am away from Luton attending the annual National Conference of Resident Judges. I am particularly grateful to you for the work you do at Luton Crown Court. Court users are often facing anxiety and stress. The young person awaiting sentence might not know whether he will be allowed to sleep in his own bed that night. A defendant will be anxiously awaiting the jury's verdict, and victims of crime have to relive a nightmare and face cross-examination on behalf of a defendant who says he is being untruthful. These are just a few examples, and as well as the parties, there's the stress suffered by police officers, jurors and court staff, not forgetting also the judges. I can think of no other place where your ministry is so essential, and serving as we do a multi-ethnic community, you are there not just for Christians, but for everyone of all faiths or none. I thank you on my behalf and those of all the other judges from the bottom of my heart for all that you do. Thank you.